investment in the long run. We hope that every character can find a purpose that belongs solely to them in different corners of new everything. Although it might be challenging to do this well, we'll continue to work hard to create more meaningful relationships between characters and players, or even take their bond to the next level.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!
Hello everyone, my name is JMMajor12 and today this is one of my major mumbles nor a gameplay video. It is a concept video. Now I did one before and that was for Project Cross Zone 3, a sequel to the game that was beautiful as Ladiva's abs. Too bad there's little to no chance of it happening. No, that game is never getting a sequel. That game has no chance of getting a sequel. No, for this video, I'm going to explain how I would implement a dating system in Zenless Zone Zero.
Good morning, manager.
Let me know if you need anything. I'll grab it for you. You need to rest.
I'm much better. You underestimate a Thyron's ability to heal. Plus, your blanket smells amazing.
Part 1. Why? At the time of me recording this, the latest dev talk had the developers talking about some things like future balancing, where they will make the old characters even more viable. Now obviously there are some agents that have a way better time dealing damage and can clear Shiyu in 1 second. I just feel like the majority of players go by the rule of cool and or sexy, plus the gameplay is fun. You can build any agent around a team that can make them viable, and I love this game for that. But now they are going to give the agents who have a harder time being viable a boost, so the players that really enjoy that specific agent cannot feel FOMO if they don't pull the best agent in the game. Another point the devs discussed was about the story and how we are essentially unlocking a new region. The pro tags are going to become disciples of Yi Xuan and Yunkai's Summit, to which I want to ask, so when is playable balance-wise? Because I have a hard time justifying the proxies themselves being the hollows if they are going to be useless in combat. Sure, the proxies guide the agents in the hollows, but why not just send ears? Because you don't have to worry about danger when you're harder to catch and can hide in small spots. And various other improvements the devs have planned in the future. But there's a specific thing they say in the trailer that caught many proxies' attention.
We'll continue to work hard to create more meaningful relationships between characters and players, or even take their bond to the next level.
That got me thinking, how would a dating system function in Zenless Zone Zero? Now at first, I dismissed this idea because it's not like any other gacha game where the player character gets intimate or at least dates one of the playable characters. The thing is, I am a mobile game player. I don't have many phone games on my phone, just Dragon Ball Legends and Last Cloudia, because I do not have that much space for more. But I know my mobile games and I'm in the loop on mobile game news. With that being said, the thought I had about player characters having to never do anything with the summoned characters and only relying on vagueness, even though nothing between the player character and the summoned character happened, I threw that thought in the trash and set it on fire in a millisecond. Because we have Nikke over here where it's canon that the player has done the devil's tango with most of the women in his crew, and regularly does it with some of his crew. And then, here comes Snowbreak having it be canon that the player gets married to 2 people and having it play into the main story.
Before we attack each other and tear ourselves to shreds like a pack of maniacs, let's just open the sack first and see what's actually in it. It might not even be worth the trouble.
Hi.
だから私の未来を分析員に託す。永遠にずっと一緒。だって今は分析員の心の中の唯一無二の存在でありたいから。あんたも私の心の中では 唯一無二の存在なの。だから。
Okay, it's worth it.
So is the dating system so far-fetched now?
I come here whenever I can't sleep, just to feel the breeze. There is no scientific way to corroborate this, but this place makes me feel at ease. I always find it easier to sleep after coming here.
Why do I feel like he's teaching me how to cure my own insomnia?
You can walk around and take in the view if you're not afraid of heights. Are you okay?
Lycon, does it make you happy to see me trip?
Not in the slightest. How could it?
Then why was your tail wagging just now? Your ears were moving too.
You must be mistaken.
I'm not mistaken.
You are mistaken.
Part 2. Realism. So I don't like to be a Debbie Downer, but realistically I see them just adding more trust events. Because every character has at least 3 trust side missions and more slots to fill in their portfolio. But that's the thing. Why say that? Why choose those words specifically? You could have not said that, but they chose the words to say in the dev talk. So many proxies are really curious as to what you meant. The reason I see it not happening is resource management. This is a gacha game, which means they are constantly working on the next update, which includes at least 2 new characters each update, and looking at the animations and how many animations each character has, especially for the story cutscenes, then there's the events in each update, so even more resources being used. Then we have to account for the new stages or maps where you do battle on, etc, etc. That's why I'm so prepared for nothing to really happen in terms of taking our bond to the next level. And I also thought surely Horioverse doesn't have that much manpower, even if they are operating 3 games at once.
Hi, 你好吗？我现在来到了一个新的位面，这里有好多新奇的事物，也有新的挑战。
So yeah, after all these years of Horio dominating the gacha market, now I think they are billionaires and have more money than God at this point.
What are you, retarded?
You know, that kind.
Wait, what's going on? Why are you beating around the bush? Are you under some sort of NDA?
Forget it. I'll just show it to you. Don't say I didn't warn you.
What was that? Well, either way, I've gotten the gist of this tape.
Well, do you still want to check the rest?
I do.
Okay, so how would I implement a dating system in ZZZ? Well, for starters, I have 2 rules. Yes, even if it is just a hypothetical, we have to make this idea even possible. Number 1, try to be light on the resources. Again, even if this is a hypothetical, we have to think about priorities. We can't just add the best dating sim ever in one patch. So I want to make the implementation easy so the devs can work on this in the background and put their time on the main patch. Number 2, find a way to monetize it. Now I know this seems crazy, but this is a gacha game. This needs to make money somehow, and even if Hoyo spends very little money and resources on this feature, it's still money and resources being spent. They need a return on their investment. Don't worry, I have a perfect solution, in my opinion, on how to do that and not make everybody angry. Now let's get to it. For this dating system, I'm imagining that 2 more friendship ranks get added into the game. Dating and best friends. I will tell you about the best friend rank later, but let me explain to you how the dating system would work. When this new hypothetical patch drops, every agent that you have with the close trust rank will gain the capacity to have the dating or the best friends trust rank. The proxies unlock the ability to do an extra invite event to an agent to unlock the rank. Let's do the route where we date someone. For this example, let's use best girl trigger. We would just go to her portfolio or relationship menu, or whatever the menu is, whatever the name is, and there would be an extra black button that would say date. When you press the button, a warning pop-up would say, "Are you sure? You can only date 1 agent at a time." When you confirm, you get a side quest that signals that you can invite the agent out on a date. When you get to the location that the date is set in, you then go into a special event where you confess your feelings, they confess theirs, and you are now dating them. When you are dating an agent, they will get all of their trust events replaced with new ones. These new trust events are more romantic and still have benefits and detriments to answering wrong. Now you may be asking me, Jay man, what are those benefits and detriments? I already got the girl, what could possibly be next? Well, congratulations, you have one more thing to do if you want to take the bond to the next level. If you date an agent, you will go into the dating trust rank, sure, but you get another bar to fill up. Let's call this bar the bond bar. If you get correct answers during the trust events, the bar fills up. If you don't, then the bar just doesn't fill up. That's the detriment. Now, what happens when the bar gets filled? Well, the agent will invite you to your room at night, and you have a deep talk talking about how dating you made them very happy, become even closer than before with the agent. Then after the talk, you know the part where during the quality time events where the agent gets close to you? Well, let's do that here and fade to black. Then a loading screen can occur. And well, you wake up in the morning with the agent in your room. Does anyone see what I did there?
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
In case some people don't get it, and I understand, by the way, we are all human, we don't think the same. Yes, I am implying that the proxy and the agent did the devil's tango. Hey, if Nikke has the protag doing the devil's tango with so many of his crew and Brown does too with this, I'm sure that Zenless Zone Zero, the quote-unquote gooner game that everyone calls it, even though this game is pretty tame compared to what you see in other gacha games, can do something like this. And if that's too much for whatever reason, just say they slept in the bed. Now for the characters who can't be romanced, like children or agents who simply can't be romanced, let's say for example, Koryo said no dating robots.
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
Example being Billy and the new robot coming Seed. Well, that's what the best friends rank is for. For this rank, when we go to the portfolio menu, there will be another black button. I don't have a specific name for it, but let's just say it will read Hangout. Now when you set up a hangout with an agent, the same thing happens. The side quest will appear and you go to the location, then you enter a special event, where the agent talks to you about how much your friendship means to them. Then it would conclude with the proxy and the agent being as close as possible, without romantic intentions, just want to make that clear. After this hangout event, the agent unlocks more trust events and maybe appears in places they have never gone to before. For example, Billy could have one trust event where he's in Blazewood reminiscing about his past in the Sons of Caledon. Maybe we could have one special event about raising Corrin's confidence, then the new trust events that come with the best friend rank could have her be more confident in talking without stuttering and apologizing all the time. Not that I'm complaining that she still does that in the game right now, it would show some, just show some character growth, you know what I mean? That would be all for the best friend rank because these are the agents who can't be romanced but get some character growth. Now that's not all for this dating system because I want to tie it into gameplay. And the way I would do it is by buffing the agent you became close with. Now these would be specific depending on if the agent is in the dating or best friends rank. For the dating rank, after you do the devil's tango or sleep in bed, you get a buff for that agent. Now I'm not the best player in the world, so the buffs I list can be altered to be just right above good but not broken or too good. For example, how about if you're dating Zhu Yan, she gains 2 more shells to use. If you date Astra, when she releases Tremolo, how about 1 more to go with it? If you date Nicole, her defense debuff increases to 47%. Well, what about the best friend rank? They would get buffs too, but since you hang out with the agents, you can get every buff a hangout agent would get. You are not entitled to just one hangout agent. And these buffs would be alright buffs. For example, Seth's buff would be an increase on his special buff, increasing the anomaly proficiency by 20. Corrin's core passive would increase by 7.5. Sukaku's buff would increase the cap to 1500. The buffs by the hangout agents won't be locked away by restrictions. All agents with the hangout rank can get a free mini buff. These buffs should be, as previously stated, alright buffs, because you aren't dating the agent that can't be dated, you are being best friends with them. Now where does the monetization come in? Well, the gacha. If the dating sim is just right, then people will summon the character they want to date. You cannot date someone you don't have in your collection. I am of the opinion that Zenless is not a gooner game. It just has attractive and sexy characters doing attractive and sexy things. I know how that sounds, but it makes sense, please. The community, however, are really into the characters. This would make the community pass out from pure joy. Before we move on to the end of the video, I have some little details to share about the dating system.
You look so strong and trustworthy. It makes me feel secure too.
How about that? I guess my appearance does have its benefits. It can be a real inconvenience. People are always scared to approach me, so sometimes I wish I weren't like this. But the president says me being like this is full of power. I used to think that meant I looked reliable, that I could protect everyone.
You're the best bear Thyran I've ever met.
Thank you for letting me believe it again.
Part 4. Little things. You now gain the ability to switch between Bell or Wise. I know you can switch in a game, but the game still treats you like the sibling you picked from the start. If Hoyo doesn't want this to be spammed for some reason, then make it have a cooldown. Maybe you can only do it once a week? The reason I added that change was for a detail I wanted to put in the dating system. Well, there's no other way to put it. Your gender would matter in dating. Not every character is into guys or girls. I looked up how Hoyo does LGB relationships, and the best I got was they implied or coded, let's just say implied, LGB relationships, but never said it out loud in fear of the big bad censorship laws that China has. Which, why? It's just two characters get together in the game, but okay, whatever. So without a doubt, this dating system would have all the women go for Wise and all the men go for Bell. And that sucks, because I wanted it to be more deep, where some were into the same gender only, some are straight, and some are just into both. Like two agents I can see being bisexual are Asher and Jane, and that just takes those options away from Bell, who already has limited options to work with, but I digress. So, how would it work if Bell tried to date a female agent? Well, the agent would just tell you that you are the best in the world and you are like a sister to them. Then you can still have the fade to black in the room, but it is said, to get those shiny sensors off Hoyo's back, that they just slept together. And you would unlock the sisterly bond thing. The gist is that you get the buff from dating them, but you wouldn't be dating them. And yes, since this is a female agent Wise can date, you still have to switch between dating agents to get the different dating buffs. You can't be Bell and gain the majority of dating buffs. Also, only the hangout, confession, and or the lead up to the fade to black moment is voiced. Everything else is like a dialogue box if you interact with them in the city. Speaking of the fade to black, I just want to state that obviously none of this is canon. It is just something for the fans. That's everything I wanted to share with you guys. Man, if I had been given limitless resources, when Wise and Bell eventually gain the ability to fight, we could have team up attacks and or ultimates if you are dating them. I could see Ashra's ult being a love song and she specifically buffs the proxy to do more damage. I could see Bell and Lycon unleashing a flurry of kicks together in his ultimate. That looks so peak. That'd be awesome. But let's not dwell on any more of the what ifs. Let's focus on the now. Did you like my idea? If you did, tell me what you liked about it. If you didn't, tell me what you disagreed on. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That's going to be it for me today. Bye. Hey guys, thank you for watching the video. If you watched this and enjoyed it, then why not give me a like, sub, and hit the bell notification. It'll help me out a lot. If you really like watching me, then you could hit any one of these videos here. Bye.